Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Another red day, sort of. We talked about this here. Actually, I posted this on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. Just being careful today. Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, and it doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing down. It just keeps on going up and up. What was nice, though, of course, is that altcoins went up with it yesterday, but now they're starting to kind of hemorrhage and pull back, of course. So glad we secured profits on a few of our trades, and consider adjusting your stop losses too, of course. Be on the safe side. Congrats to our community members once more, just for some nice profit there from Near Protocol. Good 52%. We hit our second target there, and then of course ICP good 36% as well. So congrats to those, and obviously day trades were pretty stellar yesterday. We got BNB, Matic, AVAX, and ETH as some pretty good outliers there. So what we want to look at is Slack, the backend data. Kind of double check a couple of key factors here. We do have some liquidation levels above the price action right now. That is important to recognize. We've talked about this previously too, that $67,000 mark. While majority of it has been swept, there's still some left. Actually, 67,000 was never truly tested. That's at 1.272 fib level there for our more recent high to low Fibonacci retracement levels. We'll look at that here in a minute. But the general consensus here is that there's more likelihood of the price continuing higher, based on the fact that it did just bounce and or hold so far over on top of that more recent high. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a minute. But simply put, we're closer to the liquidation, the upside, more likely that we're going to see the price continue further up. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a little bit more of a continuation, because if we do take a look at the monthly, I discussed this with my community yesterday, there is a ton, and I mean a ton of liquidation to the upside. Again, don't limit your scope to just the last 7 days. You look at the last 30 days. Heck of a lot of liquidation at 69,000, 70,000, even upwards of 75. I think 70,000 would seem practical once we break through this $67,000 resistance. Once again, 67K is that point of control. So before we get started here, I do want to ask a quick favor for you. Could you please hit the like button down below and or comment if you get a chance. Saw a lot of cool feedback yesterday, so deeply appreciate that. Thank you again to everyone who's helping grow the channel. We're going to update our levels here as well. Just to quickly note, for Elliott Wave, we did continue a little bit higher. This was just an estimate, of course. Elliott Wave always changes, but a better and worst case scenario is for us to, of course, come up towards that 70,000 mark. The good news about this here is the fact that we went this high in this wave implies that even if we were to pull back quite significantly, even as low as 63,500, we would still have a pretty significant next leg up. Okay, so again, as long as we don't break below 63,500, this uptrend is going to continue. All right, so again, it would make sense for the price to pull back a little bit, but once more here, just to clarify, the reason why we're still here is because our more recent high here, 65,500, is holding so far as a support. Okay, so again, that 1.0 fib level effectively for the win, tentatively for the moment. Just keep in mind, secondary to that is 64,400, and of course tertiary would be our 0.618 fib level at 63,500. I have an alert set for 63.5. I'm going to set an alert here just above 64.4, just so that way I can pay attention to the price does come down to that level. Maybe consider a DCA or just kind of averaging into a long position. Again, we want to look for other contributing factors at that time. You don't just arbitrarily jump into a trade, but that's generally what I like to look for. We are now officially over the 50-day SMA, though. Keep in mind, we may not see the price pull back that low. If you look at this here, 50-day SMA, roughly 65,000 is a close approximate. That's fantastic, folks. That's exactly what we want to be to get us back in bull town, so to speak. 65,000 is kind of that level, or more importantly, being above the 50-day SMA. Now, keep in mind, we're not just going to be sunshine and rainbows from here on out because of that one thing. It just implies we're more likely to continue further up from here. Okay, so again, really cool stuff there. Let's double check a couple of other things here too. When we take a look at traditional indicators, we're solidly over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is past the RSI, which is fantastic. Stochastic wants to swing down, but MACD is still converging. So there's every reason not to take a short position right now. If you were to short, again, I get it. It's like 67,000 is that resistance. I'm going to short at resistance. You can do that, of course, as a day trader. Don't get me wrong. You probably would have had some success shorting from 66,600, 700. But at this point here, we can kind of see that resistance there tentatively. Point of control at about roughly 66,120. Okay, keep in mind that level is increased. That was yesterday, 67,000 was the point of control. Today, the point of control is 66,200. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because more volume is getting accumulated at this level. People are feeling like that's a good value, and of course, that is creating a new support for us. So That's exactly why this fib level here, this 1.0 level, the most recent high, that very well could sustain itself as the new low. Okay, so I wouldn't say FOMO in per se, but I can tell you that it does feel like this may be a tentative bottom for us. We do look at RSI, we are coming back down below 70. Generally, that's considered a sell signal if you were to consider taking profits. So if you haven't already secured profits on your long for Bitcoin, I don't know what you're doing. Moon boys don't exist in this current market. You need to take profit when you can. Okay. Now again, you could be one of those guys that got into 57,000, and in 5 months from now you sell at 100,000 and show everybody how awesome you are on social media. That doesn't do any good, honestly, because there's tons of profit between now and then that you could have secured. It just makes no sense to get eaten up on fees if you hold for too long. Okay, so again, some people don't realize just how dumb that is. Anyways, what I want to get at here is the fact that with us being under 70, it's not a bad thing. It really just implies that, hey, we could see a slight shift in momentum, the price is cooling down a little bit, and it could pull back a little bit further. But we can also see here a lot of volume at in this one candle here, implying that there's a lot of buying and selling pressure concurrently. So this is a point of interest for a lot of people. It's a good sign ultimately to see a large candle at that point, even if it is a red candle. Doesn't necessarily mean the price is going to come down, but it does imply that we could see a shift in momentum happening right now, and you want to kind of respect it and expect that to occur. So me personally, I'd rather wait for the price to pull down to the 64K range before I take entry instead of taking one now, just because it feels like it's a bit on the overextended side. But you got to keep this in mind too. The longer we stay at this level, the more likely it is to take off too, because it's cooling off, building that volume profile and that base, and effectively ramping up for more. Either way, 4-hour time frame, showing that we're in very good shape. We're above all moving averages. Of course, it's hard not to be when you have from bottom to top, a good 10% continuation in the last 48 hours. So that's pretty solid little couple of days for Bitcoin. If we take a look here at TD sequential, we can see we were massively overextended leading into this push. So again, never trade off overextension alone. But at this point, we can see we're kind of cooling off and relaxing there. If we do take a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we're getting close to a consideration for selling or taking profit. In other words, when the lagging span gets close to the price action, that's just kind of a sign letting you know that the momentum has slowed down, and securing profits wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Again, you're a long-term hodler, spot trader, different story altogether. Don't worry about that. But if you are, a swing trader and you like to trade, within about a week's time or less, you probably want to secure profits because we don't know and there's no guarantee the price is going to go up. But again, we're consolidating at supports. We have a lot of reasons why the price action should sustain itself, but you got to keep in mind too, lagging spans getting close to the price action, or the baseline rather. That does imply that the price is more likely to pull back, which it has already. So it's again just kind of giving us those obvious indications. If we do take a look here, of course, 65,500. The cloud is kind of averaging itself in this range here, so this does imply we got a support range between this 0.786 and basically 1.0 level at between 64.4 and 65.5. Okay, so those are the kind of two levels there. So again, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, this Elliott wave pattern, it's not a guarantee it's going to come this low. It just can't come any lower than this here in order to invalidate this trend. That's what you got to recognize. The 4 has to be higher than the 1. So at this point here, that 0.618 fib level is so far holding fairly strong. So we'll update our fibs after today's candlestick closes. Maybe we could go and do that on later today's analysis. But for right now, we're going to leave this the way that it is. See that obvious rejection at 1.272, and just kind of recognize that no trade is maybe a good trade, and consider securing profits if you haven't yet already. Try not to get too greedy in this market. And of course, congrats again to our community members who've had some pretty good success here recently, and our newer members that are jumping on over there. Absolutely appreciate you. And I want to say thank you too for everyone who's trying to help grow the community by hitting that like button, commenting below, and just I had some people reach out, say they've been watching me for over 3 years. That's admirable considering I've created my channel just over 3 years ago. So really, really appreciate you folks. Thanks again for watching. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Take care.